So good afternoon, students. This is Arvind, Assistant Professor, Department of Triple E, PBR Reads, Kavali. So in the previous classes, I discussed about early discoveries of HVDC system and comparison of HVAC and HVDC transmission by using economics of transmission, technical performance, and reliability issues. And after that, I discussed about the disadvantages of HVDC system, advantages of HVDC system, and applications of HVDC system, and comparison between HVAC and HVDC. And after that, I discussed about the types of DC links. And after completion of the topic, I discussed about power handling capabilities of HVDC line, both theoretically and derivation by using the derivation. And after that, I discussed about um, and now I am going to discuss the topic, that is static conversion principles and choice of converter configuration or choice of static converter configuration. So first I will start with the basic conversion principles. So the application of DC power transmission involve conversion of alternating current to direct current and vice versa. Okay, the application of DC power transmission involve conversion of alternating current to direct current and vice versa. So in order to transmit electric energy from the power source to the load center, in order to transmit electric energy from the power source to the load center by using, firstly, alternating current must first be converted into direct current. Okay, alternating current must first be converted into direct current at sending end, referred as rectification. Second point is direct current must be converted back into alternating current at the receiving end, referred to as inversion. So the facility where the rectification occurs at the sending end is called as rectifier station, and the facility where the inversion occurs at the receiving end is called as inverter station. And fifth one is rectifier station or inverter station are collectively known as converter stations. Okay, rectifier station or inverter station are collectively known as converter station. So therefore, the devices that enable rectification and inverse operation are called as rectifier and inverter. So these are collectively known as converters. So presently, the converter used for HVDC and UHVDC, that means ultra high voltage direct current power transmission, comprise thyristor based converter bridges and converter transformers that supply commutation voltage. Okay, presently the converter used for HVDC and UHVDC power transmission comprise thyristor-based converter bridges and converter transformers that supply commutation voltage. So this is the conventional HVDC system based on thyristors. So in this diagram, I am taking on the sending end and receiving end, I am taking on both ends, I am taking the thyristors as the valves. So and in between we are using a DC link, and a reactor is used in between those two valves. Okay, this is the conventional HVDC system based on thyristors. And coming to the HVDC conversion, so here the previous figure shows a conventional HVDC system that are based on thyristor converters. So these converters can be separated by a few meters in back-to-back HVDC links. So usually the power flow is controlled from the rectifier side and the inverter side being operated close to the maximum permissible delay angle and defining the voltage. Okay, the power flow is controlled from the rectifier side and the inverter side being operated close to the maximum permissible delay angle and defining the voltage. So for a single pulse converter station, AC current harmonics are of order 6n plus or minus 1 and amplitude is 1 by n and 6n on the DC side and 6n on the DC side. So typically low order harmonics, that is 5th and 7th, can be eliminated by means of transformers in the typical 12 pulse connection. Therefore, alternatively, harmonic filters can be used. So harmonic filters can be used. So you know already in a converter station we have rectifier station and inverter station. In between rectifier and inverter, we are using a filter, say either AC or DC filters we are using to reduce the harmonics. Okay, so if you take a weak AC system, weak AC system, the operation of thyristor rectifiers or inverters is affected. So if you use weak AC system, the operation of thyristor rectifiers or inverters is affected. So thyristor competition failures may occur. Because of these things, thyristor commutation failures may occur. So commutation failure may affect the operation of the complete DC transmission system. So self-commutated switches do not have the limitations of thyristors and can thus replace thyristors in current source topologies. Okay, so commutation failure may affect the operation of the complete DC transmission system. So self-commutated switches do not have the limitations of thyristors and thus can replace thyristors in current source topology. So among the large self-commutated switching power devices, GTOs and more recently IGBTs are used. So the large self-commutated switching power devices, GTOs and more recently IGBTs are used. So, but voltage source topologies are preferred in HVDC applications as in the STATCOM and UPFCs that is shown in the later diagram. So here the diagram A shows the operation of the rectifier power or voltage levels, however have not so far reached those of the thyristor technologies. So that diagram is this one. So in this one we are taking a two thyristor valves and two reactors and one capacitor. Okay, so this is the HVDC conversion. For the HVDC conversion, I'm taking this one. Okay, so in the previous diagram, we taken the thyristor, only single thyristors we had taken in the previous diagram. So those two thyristors separated by a DC link and a reactor by some distance. And now in this one also, I am taking a thyristor valves on both sides, and in between we have one capacitor. Okay, so this is one more diagram we are taking. So in this one, the first diagram on the left side and the first top diagram gives the operation of self-commutated synchronous rectifier diagram, schematic diagram. So in this one, we are taking a sending end and receiving end. At the sending end, we are taking a generator, and the receiving end, we are taking a load. So nearer to the load, we are taking a capacitor, and at the sending end, we are taking a reactor. So in between sending and receiving end, we are taking a thyristor valve, so which consists of two thyristors in opposite directions. The twin parallel connection. So this is the self-commutated diagram, synchronous rectifier schematic diagram. And on the right side, we have the equivalent circuit of fundamental frequency. So in this diagram, we have the sending end voltage and receiving end voltage sources. And in between these two, we are taking a reactor. Okay, and below the first diagram on the left side, there is the phasor diagram for fundamental frequency by the leading power factor. Okay, and on the right side at last below diagram gives the equivalent circuit for frequency components, subsequent frequency components. So the advantages include better harmonic and power factor control and also improved control capabilities. So the advantages include better harmonic and power factor control and also improved control capabilities. So in addition, as the converters are self-commutated, the proper operation is maintained under AC system fault condition. Okay, so in addition, as the converters are self-commutated, the proper operation is maintained under AC system fault conditions. Okay, so next, coming to the last topic of this chapter, that is static converter configuration. Okay, so in this one, all modern HVDC systems use either 6 pulse or 12 pulse converters. Okay, all modern HVDC systems use either 6 pulse or 12 pulse converters. So the three-phase bridge shown in the diagram is the only configuration used in the HVDC transmission. So this is the diagram I'm telling about, this diagram. So this is the three-phase bridge diagram. Okay, this is the only configuration we are used in the HVDC transmission, that is three-phase bridge. So here the static conversion of power from AC to DC and from DC to AC constitutes the central process of HVDC terminals. Okay, the static conversion of power from AC to DC and from DC to AC constitutes the central process of HVDC terminals. So the bridge configuration provides better utilization of the converter transformer and a lower peak inverse voltage across the converter valves when compared with other possible alternatives. Okay. So next, this is the diagrammatic representation of the three-phase bridge. So in this one, I am taking a AC supply, that is a three-phase system. So this three-phase system is connected to a valves. So here I am taking a 6-pulse bridge. So that means in the 6-pulse bridge, we are having a 6 pulses or 6 valves. So it consists of two groups. One is upper commutation group and another one is lower commutation group. So here we are taking a 3 phases. That means each phase is connected to 2 valves. Each phase is connected to 2 valves. So upper commutation group is connected to the positive terminal and lower commutation group is connected to the negative terminal. So the upper commutation group consists of odd number of valves and the lower commutation group consists of even number of valves. Namely, there is a 1, 3, 5. This is comes under the upper combination group, and 4, 6, 2. These are comes under um, lower combination group. So if you observe this diagram, I am indicating with I am indicating the valves with black thick color, black color. So that means if we represent the valve with a black coated color, so that is the conducting valve, and the other with the non black color or in a plain color, that is the non-conducting valve. So in each case, at least two valves are conducting. One is from the upper group and another one is from the lower group. So here I am taking totally 6 diagrams. Totally 6 diagrams. So if you observe this one, for each in each diagram, two valves are conducting. That is in the first diagram, the valves 1 and 6 are conducting, and next we have second and fourth, and next we have 1 and 2, and next we have 4 and 5, and then we have 6 and 3, and then we have 6 and 5. Like that we are having the conduction of valves in this from this diagram. So next, so in the diagram, the conducting valves are indicated by thick lines. I already said this point in the diagram. So in the diagram, the conducting valves are indicated by a thick lines that is with the black color. So the bridge indicates that two valves are connected to each phase. This point also discussed in the diagram. So the bridge indicates that two valves are connected to each phase. So for example, if you observe the diagram, the valve number 1 and 4 are connected to the phase R. So similarly, the remaining 4 valves are connected to the remaining 2 phases. Okay, next, so in the upper part of the bridge, the anodes of valves 1, 3, 5 are connected to the RYB respectively. So in the upper part of the bridge, the anodes of valves, that is 1, 3, 5 are connected to the phases RYB respectively. So similarly, in the lower half of the bridge, the cathodes of valves, that is 4, 6, 2 are connected to the phases RYB respectively. That means the odd number of valves are connected to the anode side of the bridge, and the even number of valves are connected to the phases in the cathode side. So here the figure indicates that at any time two valves will be conducting in series. That is firstly 6 1 and next 1 2 and next 2 3 and next 3 4 and next 4 5 and next 5 6. So like that we are taking in the previous diagram. If you observe the diagram, you will have these steps. In the first diagram, the conducting valves are 6 and 1, and in the second diagram the conducting valves are 1 and 2, and in the third diagram the conducting valves are 2 and 3, and in the fourth diagram the conducting valves are 3 and 4, and in the fifth diagram the conducting valves are 4 and 5, and in the sixth diagram the conducting valves are 5 and 6. So if you observe these valves, uh, at least one valve from the upper group and at least one valve from the lower group will be conducting so simultaneously. So when the source inductance of the transformer is neglected, so this is not considered as a drawback in high voltage applications, particularly with solid state converter, because it is necessary to connect many thyristor units in series to withstand the voltage levels being used. So the switching sequence and rectified voltage waveforms are shown in the diagram. So I will show those diagrams in the last slide. Okay, the switching sequence and rectified voltage waveforms are illustrated in the diagrams for an uncontrolled bridge rectifier. That means that is a diode operation. So please concentrate on the 2 points. One is if you use thyristor as a valve. If you use thyristor as a valve, that is a controlled operation. So if you use diode as a valve, so that is an uncontrolled operation. So with delay angle alpha is equal to 0. So here the valves are numbered according to the sequence of operation. So if you observe the valve, each valve is numbered with 1 to 6. Why? Because here we are taking the 6 pulse converter. So the valves are numbered according to the sequence of operation. And the operation of the converter as rectifier can be explained as follows. So if you take the rectifier operation, what will happen? I will explain in this one. So consider the diagram A, that is the waveform. So at the in the diagram we are taking the instance P. At the instant P, the phase voltage R is more positive with respect to the other phases, and therefore the valve 1 conducts. Okay, considering the diagram, the waveform diagram. So in that one, at the instant P, the phase voltage R, that is VR, is more positive with respect to the other phases, and therefore the valve 1 conducts. Similarly, phase voltage Y is more negative. Okay, the phase voltage Y, that is Vy, is more negative with respect to other phases, and therefore the valve 6 conducts. So that is for the first diagram, 1 and 6 conducts. And next, this state of operation continues up to the point Q. Okay, this state of operation continues up to the point Q, after which the valve 2 is forward biased, since the phase voltage B becomes more negative, that is VB is more negative when the valve 2 is open, when the valve 2 is taken. Okay, next, the anode of 2, which is directly connected to the anode of 6. Okay, the anode of 2, which is directly connected to the anode of 6, becomes more positive as it is connected to the phase B. So next, therefore, at the point Q, the current commutates naturally from the valve 6 to valve 2. Okay, therefore, at the point Q, the current commutates naturally from valve 6 to valve 2. So the above discussion indicates that the anode of the valve which is driven more positive and cathode of the valve which is driven more negative will be conducting simultaneously. So I will show the waveforms. After that you will understand this one. So therefore in the region PQ, the valves 1, 6, and in the region QR, the valves 1, 2 conduct. Okay, in the region PQ, the valves 1 and 6 are conducting, and in the region QR, the valves 1 and 2 conduct. So at the point R, the anode of the valve 3 connected to the phase Y. So at the point R, the anode of the valve 3 connected to phase Y will begin to driven more positive than the anode of the valve 1 connected to the phase R, and the current commutation will take place from valve 1 to valve 3. The current commutation takes place from valve 1 to valve 3. So this will be followed commutation of the valve 2 to 4 at the point S and the valve 3 to 5 at the point T. So similarly, commutation of the valve 4 to valve 6 at U point and the valve 5 to valve 1 at V take place. So this completes the switching cycle sequence. Okay, so in the region RS, the valves 2, 3 conduct, and in the region ST, the valves 3, 4 conduct, and so on. So the order and the pair of valves conducting at different periods are also indicated in the diagram. Okay, the order of the pair of valves conducting at different periods are also indicated in the diagram. So further analyzing the converters, conduction occurs during the period when anode is positive with respect to the cathode and line to line is applied between two midpoints of the series connected valves 1, 4 or 3, 6 or 5, 2 like that. So voltage at any instant is assumed as, that is V naught of t is equal to, for a three phase, that is root 3 Vm cos omega t. So here Vm is the peak value of the phase voltage with zero reference to the y-axis passing through the peak value of Vn of V pi of t or Vn of V naught of t. So next, the output voltage waveforms given in the diagram A indicates voltage variation of the positive and negative poles with respect to the transformer neutral on the secondary side. So the second diagram shows the output voltage V naught of t between the positive and negative poles, which is indicated by thick lines. The output voltage V naught of t contains ripples of harmonics frequency, which is 6 times that of the main frequency, because the V naught of t contains 6 pulses in the cycle of the main voltage. So these are the waveforms for that explanation. So if you observe the first waveform, so here the conductions of valves is there. So here we have some cathode and anodes. Okay, currents commutation, that is at the cathode side and anode side with transformer neutral I am taking. So that is the first valve is at the R phase. The first valve is at the R phase and the sixth valve is at the Y phase. So at the R phase, the voltage is more negative, and at the Y phase, that is at the sixth valve is of, that is at the more negative up to Q point, and after that it will move into the positive side, and next the valve 3 is conducting, like that the process continues. And after the below diagram, the first diagram below, we have one more diagram. It will gives the phase to phase voltages, that is at 6 and 1 valves conducting. At that time we have the voltage valve, that is VRY, and at the valves 1 and 3 conducting, that is at that time similarly some valves are conducting, it's shown in the waveforms. Okay, so and after that we are taking a output voltage waveforms, that is indicated in the third diagram. Okay, so these are the different waveforms used for the explanation. Okay. Okay, thank you. So in this class, I discussed about static conversion principles and choice of converter configuration. Okay. So in the next class, I'm going to start the second unit, that is static power converter analysis. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video.